brilliant character. I mean, who wouldn't say that Ted wasn't the man?
He was, he was just like 100 miles an hour. I know that people used to ask him if he was on drugs, on speed or something, because that's how quick he was.
Ted's the real deal, I think. He's not trying to be something, that's just how he is, really.
Teddy dances around as if he's been bitten by a million bees, I suppose.
Ted was like a DJ in art form for hair. He was a very fast mover in those days. The client would go down, he was really quick. And he moved your hair a lot, so you jerked a lot, and you think, is this guy for real? But once you got to know Ted, that was his style of doing it. He slowed down a bit, like we all do in this days, but I can tell you, he was lightning fast. Comb, scissors, comb, boom, 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 finish, out. Next client.
I started off really slow, because what you've got to learn is the tools of your trade. You've got to get your basic techniques. We didn't have learning in those days as the kids have now. You watched the guy cutting, and you watched, and you watched, and you watched, and you watched, right? And you picked it up. And then I got more and more confident, and I whizzed up and whizzed up and whizzed up, because of course you had the music pounding.
So that kind of music, 50s, sort of like 60s music, was always blaring out, so, and it's quite energetic. So it matched the way he cut hair, because he used to cut hair like that. And you think, oh my God, what's he doing? And then he'd end up with this work of art at the end of it.
It's an inspiration. You look at a person, you have a creative thought. You never start a haircut unless you can see what it's going to look like at the end in your mind before you start. So the faster you get an image from your mind onto that person's head, the more likely it is to be true to the thought you had in the beginning.
You know, the reason I think for Ted's success is that Ted has a really, really good understanding of what makes people look good.
He had a very strong opinion, and would put it across, and usually it would be right. The person, like I say, they looked much better when they left than when they came in.
Yeah, the thing you got to remember about Ted is, Ted, when he's in his prime, people coming from all over the world to see Ted cut hair. Other hairdressers, famous hairdressers, were coming to see Ted because, you know, Ted was the only guy in town had people queuing out the door to see him. It wasn't about, you know, what do you want to do? Ted was more like, this is what you should do. And everywhere you look, there's images that Ted's created. So Ted would be saying, oh, I was thinking we'd do something like that, or like that, or like that.
I think people went to get their hair cut by him as almost like a treat to see him. It wasn't like going to a hairdresser's, it was like going for a day out.
Scissors in the 80s was huge.
They had, in those days, they had an atmosphere, they created atmosphere, so when you went there was loud music playing. There was always something to occupy your mind.
You know, what was amazing about Ted is because when I was working with him, he'd go, oh, that one, yeah, we should get some photos of her, she'd be good. And I was looking at her, I'm thinking to myself, well, I can't see that. I mean, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but, you know, she looks, but, you know, sure enough, Ted, you know, moves her down the back of the shop, gets her to sit somewhere, pop her head in a certain angle, and bang, and you look in the phone, she looks fantastic.
He loved photography, and because it was Ted, it was always very natural pictures. He'd take his camera everywhere, and actually he probably took some of my favourite photographs of me or everyone, actually. He did a lot in the salon. I think it was also for his own portfolio, but generally he'd get a professional into the salon to take photos of models, and his would always turn out better than the professional, so not bad. That's a good eye, a really good eye.
What happened was that I started taking my own photographs of my haircuts. When I was working with the top photographers, I thought, hang on, you've got an overall charge of the whole woman.
He would take, like, headshots, obviously, and he also used to like to take lingerie shots. He used to have this Betty Boop thing, and his 40s, 50s women. So he would like to take pictures like that. Provocative pictures, I suppose, but I think really well-shot pictures.
When I started, they were nothing but for my own pleasure. And I think I'd taken 12, right? And then I bought this book of my heroine, Betty Page, the 50s pin-up queen, and the publisher was Benedict Taschen from Cologne, Germany. So I just wanted a book, and he was he was great. And so I sent him a letter with a couple of my pictures. The book's actually called Au Pair, because it was the story of all the early girls from Europe who came here, and because of the legal system, the only way they could get a job was being a nanny or an au pair. So that's why I call it Au Pair.
The thing is with Ted starts taking photos for lots of different reasons, mostly for himself. And then he has this huge collection, and he's showing clients, and clients go, wow, it's amazing. And, all his whole flat is covered with these photos. People saying, Ted, you should do something with that. Yeah, and eventually after a few years and the books and books and books of photos, he's thinking, well, maybe I should do something with that. So anyway, I go around to Ted's flat one day, and here's Benedict Taschen wandering around. He can't believe it. Here's this guy he's never heard of, with images he'd never seen before, and his whole flat is just completely covered with layers. I mean, there's just layers and layers and layers of photos.
And he said, I want to publish. And this was probably the high point of my photographic career. And then I fucked up on the model signatures of consent. By the time, a year later, when I got all these signatures of consent, the guy's catalogue had moved on. And that window of opportunity had gone. But it's very flattering.
It's like food for Ted, that kind of thing. That's, it's not something he does for other people, or he does that for himself. He's just got all that stuff. It's for him. When you see where he does it, I mean, he doesn't have some huge big studio he does it in. He does it in his flat, or he does it, he could do it in your flat. He could do it because Ted's, he's able to understand what it takes to make a good photo.
Being a photographer was a natural extension of doing one part of a person's body to doing the whole complete woman. And that was, that was fantastic, because photography is such a great art form. It's not defiled like hairdressing's become. When I started, it was all to do with the music, with the clothes, with the buzz. Young England was in revolution. It was all about, everyone thought they could do something. If you had an idea, they went for it. And people said, yeah, I love it. This was a very small window of opportunity when hairdressers could be cool, have long hair, be very groovy. It was a time in Kings Road, Chelsea, when it was the most famous fashion street in the world, etc., right? When you could actually be normal, despite the fact you had hair down there and slim hip jeans or whatever, etc., and go and do something nice. But the scene's gone. It died in the mid-90s, probably. I keep doing what I do, but I brought back the atmosphere of what I had at work to my own flat. Because times have changed. The 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s have gone. Out there, it's very serious now. Hairdressing has gone right back to selling conditioners, etc., right? So the idea of a good haircut has gone out the window. I think you've got nice hair, etc., but it's the hair for a 25-year-old, a 35-year-old, a 45-year-old, etc., right? So you're young, you've got a great face, I love your face, so let's bring out your face and let's do something that projects your face. You have to imagine you're the boyfriend, you're the husband, and you have to imagine that you love the person you're doing. One favor, don't talk to me at all, because I'm concentrating, you understand?
Yeah.
Now in 1 second, I'm gonna turn the music up, because I have to put myself in the romantic mood. Okay, baby, I got it. Okay, Teddy Bear, come on, let's go crazy. Let's take some nice one. I choose to do haircuts here because I've got complete artistic freedom. I've got my pictures, I've got all the things that inspire me. The scene has been set. So even though Scissors closed down, the tourists left Kings Road, the whole situation changed from the 60s, 70s, 80s, etc., I plug in here and then we're rocking. And you can do your art.
Got to have your sweet, sweet charm, baby. Take me in your loving arms. I need you. I need you. I want you, baby. Got to have you. I need you. If it's all the same to you, baby. If it's all the same to you, baby. I can't take these heartaches. I know I'm gonna lose my mind. Understand?
I do it for the money, okay? Plus, I really still enjoy doing a haircut. But as for the rest of it, oh no. Let's go down to the job centre.